What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I am your host, the dad bod god himself, the bald, the beard, the fucking beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight I am being rejoined by my guest, Mr. Rhys Angel. Rhys just recently won a tag team match with his tag team partner, Donnie Mako at FWA, and also just came back prior to that at PWA as well, and has an upcoming show this Friday, the 3rd of December for PWA, which we're going to get into very, very shortly. But before I bring out my guest, I just want to take a quick second, a quick pause for that fucking cause to thank some of these amazing sponsors that help us keep the lights on up in this bitch. First up is healthvape.com. Ladies and gentlemen, healthvape.com is your healthy vaping alternative. All of their products are no nicotine, no addictive or harmful chemicals, and they are vitamin infused. So go and check out some of their vape and pod products. Use promo code MWAPOD and get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, next up, we got sleefs.com. That is SLEEFS, sleefs.com. Now, if you or someone you know is an athlete, you need to check out Sleeves. They've got armbands, compression pants, compression shorts, compression socks, headbands, mouth guards, head guards. They've even got dirty boxes. And ladies and gentlemen, they have sent me a box of these dirty boxes, and they are the most comfortable boxes that I own. I threw all my other boxes out. How many times can I say boxes in a sentence? I don't know. We're going to see how we go. But guys, check out sleeves.com. Use promo code MWAPOD and get a 10% discount on your final purchase. Guys, also on the MWA Podcast Network, make sure that you check out all of the amazing shows that we have here, like Killing the Business, hosted by former ECW original, the Kingpin, Angel Medina, and King Mega, and the Burger King, Glenn Sexton. Check out Knights of the Gimmick Table, hosted by the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider, and also check out Get Funked, hosted by former WCW and TNA star Alan Kwee Funk. Check out the NXT Roundup, check out Wrestling with Sports, and check out the Funkin' Kingpin Show. Guys, we have a show every day of the week. We have your one-stop shop for all your wrestling media entertainment, where you can come and there's a show for everybody here, guys. So come and check it out. Like, share, subscribe wherever you're finding us. Make sure you're liking us. Leave us a comment. Leave us a review, good or bad. It's always good to know where we're doing well and where we're not. So guys, but without further ado, I'm going to bring out my guest of this, well, my guest this evening, Rhys Angel. Rhys, what's up? Thank you for being on, man.
Thank you for having me on. It's good to be on again.
Absolute pleasure, man. It was good to see you on Sunday, man. You guys had an absolute great match, dude. And I have to say, man, like, I hadn't seen you and Donnie tag before, and I really dig the tag team, dude. I think it's a pretty cool looking team.
Yeah, we're like, me and Mako, we're still trying to find our feet as a team as well. Like, we've only had maybe a handful of matches together. Even though we're tag champs over there, we're still trying to find our feet together. But yeah, it's real fun to just kind of, I don't know, like, I'm used to doing a lot of single stuff, so now it's good to be a part of a team, especially with Donnie. It just makes life easy because he's just so loose and easy with everything.
Do you find it difficult putting things together, going like from being mainly like a singles wrestler to now being in a tag team? Like, how did the team sort of come together? Like, was it something that Fivey approached you guys and said, hey, this is what I'm thinking?
Yeah, so essentially when I first started working at FWA, it was just kind of like, hey, let's it was just kind of like a one spot kind of thing, where it was like, hey, you're gonna be in this match here. And then Kai Drake also was like, yeah, let's I want to be in that match too. So Kai got himself involved in it, but he also wanted to start working FWA more. So originally it was me and Kai Drake tagging together.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so then we kind of tagged for a bit there, and then as I think we were kind of like learning how to do stuff together, like, I think he bowed out because from other things he wanted to do, he bowed out of that. And then Fivey was pretty still intent on having me somewhat involved in like a tag scene. And then it was just kind of like, yeah, put together, how about Mako? And previously at training, when I first started, me and Mako had always teased, like, between us, going, "Hey, let's do some stuff together." And he was like, "Oh yeah," and we just never did. But then got given the opportunity, and yeah, now we're tag champs.
Absolutely. And you know what? I wanted to ask as well, because like from when we've seen you previously, we've sort of seen like a different like change in ring gear, and like we sort of started to see the change in character and becoming more of the, you know, the vain, you know, egotistical sort of character, and you know, coming out changing the ring gear. What was the was that always the plan with the character, to change the ring gear, and obviously due to COVID, or like where did that sort of come up?
So the whole thing with me, I feel changing to being very narcissistic, being very egotistical. The initial uh, change of gear was when I went for the full bodysuit. So when I had that big blue and yellow bodysuit, or blue and gold one, because it was based off of a comic book character who's essentially a big vein, big egotistical kind of guy in
Yeah.
Booster Gold, and it was very similar sort of gear, and mentality wise, it was very inspired and drawn from it. But I feel like as I played around with it, I was thinking, I'm like, you know what? I think the big, like, especially if I'm like, yeah, let's kind of go for more of a dick kind of move, like just being real bit like a little bit narcissistic, as you would say. Someone who
Yeah.
loves himself. You see someone who dresses in like real tight pants, like real obnoxiously tight shirts, wearing sunglasses inside, and usually if it's fully white, you look as douchey as possible. So I'm like, you know what? If I can do this and I can not ruin every single pair of pants and shirt that I have that is white, let's see. I'll have a test go at the academy, and then after that, we'll see if it works. And at the academy, I was all fine. I'm like, you know what? It actually feels real good wrestling in jeans and a shirt. Uh, and I'm like, you know what? It's actually it feels better to wrestle in than the bodysuit. The only thing I've just got to get used to is wrestling in Adidas shoes.
Yeah. Did you find, was that different for you to do, like going from wrestling boots to wearing like normal sneakers and shit?
Yeah, so amateurs are real nice. They're real light, and you've got a lot of grip in them. Whereas these, they're heavy, like they're super heavy on the sole. So just
Yeah.
even running the ropes, I'm just like, oh, this doesn't feel right.
Fuck,
But
man.
I'm getting around it, and I'm kind of getting like wearing them in a little bit. So yeah, they're feeling more and more comfortable every time I'm wearing them.
And I think as well, like how you said, you know, really looking at sort of getting that heat, sort of like how douchey can you make it, like all white, coming out arrogant, and even the sunglasses inside as well. It's the little touches as well, because then it's automatically that builds towards your heat before you even open your mouth or speak or do anything in the ring.
Yeah, like I started kind of playing with the idea of not being someone like not being someone who is very much like, I want to win wrestling matches. I want to do this. It's like, nah, I'm doing everything for the camera. So if you see any of the matches, I'll have someone down, pin them 1, 2, they'll kick out, whatever. I will straight away look for the camera. I'm like, where is the camera? I want that photo of me looking as like a dick. Like if anyone outside, like, or anyone in wrestling knows me and not like Rhys Angel, they know like I do not like that type of stuff. I will try to not wear skin tight button up shirts, skin tight pants. I'm not a massive fan of it. And especially like flexing to a camera and just being
Yeah.
real arrogant. I'm not about myself at all. But I'm like, you know what? Let's play with it. Let's see how it goes. And I'm slowly getting more comfortable doing it, which is a bit scary because it means I'm starting to
But in
like
the
doing
world
it.
of pro wrestling, it's acceptable for you to do that, though.
Oh, 100%.
It's actually, it's probably looked at like, even like, why aren't you doing that, Reese?
Exactly. So I'm like, you know what? It's two different people. When I do that, when I'm out there, a completely different person to what I actually am. Let's try to make that as obvious as possible.
Oh, dude, and you know, I really enjoyed seeing the pairing with you and Nikki Van Blair, and you know,
Yeah.
with the new character and coming outside of the pandemic, are we going to see Nikki return with you?
I'm not too sure. I think I kind of want to really see what I can do because having Nikki with me was great because Nikki is fantastic. Nikki brought out so much confidence in me to be able to do what I do now. But I kind of feel having Nikki by my side was almost like relying on a crutch, because I felt like my promos would be terrible. The way that I talk would be horrendous. Uh, but slowly but surely, I think I'm getting more comfortable, and I feel that there might actually be some possibility where I might be able to, like, I'm coming up with different things here and there that it would be harder to do with someone by my side, I guess.
Yeah.
So it might in the future, but at the moment, I'm kind of like, you know what? Let's see if I can make a run for this.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I've enjoyed seeing your work. And one of the things, like, I was really surprised with at going to the PWA show at the Academy several weeks back was seeing how in shape, and not in shape, but incredibly good shape everyone was in after 4 months of in lockdown. Like everyone looked shredded and looked absolutely amazing. And one of the things I wanted to actually ask you about is, like, you look like you've actually bulked up a little bit as well during the pandemic, not in a negative way, but like put
Mm.
on some solid muscle. Was that something that you had, like, sort of obviously in lockdown going, you know what, let's try and work on this?
The when it comes to lockdown, when it comes to working out in lockdown, legitimately, I would cycle about 20 k's every day. I probably picked up weights maybe 3 times.
Really?
It was legitimately all cardio. I would either cycle, I would wake, there was a time period, especially when the lockdown first hit. I was cycling from like 5 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning, or 5 to 6:30. I would just do it real early in the day because I'm like, there's nothing else that we're gonna do. So I would just wake up, cycle, and just kind of start the day off doing that. Um, but yeah, I think the gaining of like looking bigger and stuff like that, I think was just like I said, I was cycling every day. And when I started the pandemic, when the pandemic first hit, was coming back from an injury. I was coming back from my shoulder being a little bit, how you going? But
Mm.
yeah, I kind of started losing weight, losing weight, losing weight. And then I was kind of in a comfortable weight limit for me. And once lockdown hit, I'm like, okay, continue cardio. Let's see if I can keep the weight down there. But I ended up, I think right as lockdown started, I was about 82.
Yeah.
And then when lockdown finished, I jumped back on scales. I'm like, okay, the gym's opening up. Let's see what I'm at. And I hit 94. So
Whoa.
it was like a pretty much a 12-kilo weight gain. And I'm like, I'm cycling 20 Ks every day. I'm trying to go down to the beach in the rock pools and swim
Mm.
maybe a K, 500 meters. Let's see what I can do. But yeah, I was gaining weight, and I don't think it was good weight. It was just a lot of size. But yeah, but as soon as we got locked down,
But after seeing you though, like, it's not like you looked out of shape. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you didn't look big as in bad. Like, you look like you bulked. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it didn't look anything bad.
that's the amazing thing about wearing a shirt. Wearing a shirt when you're wrestling, especially right now. Like, as soon as we got a lockdown, like, I'm going upper body as much as I can. Good thing is, I feel like my shoulders for someone my size is quite large. Like, I've got big shoulders, and that's probably the best thing. And so whenever I'm wearing a shirt, it makes me look massive up the top, but I'm not
Right.
actually a massive dude. And I know I'm not a massive dude. Um, but yeah, and then pretty much when I saw that I was 94, I'm like, let's drop this. I want to be what I was when I first debuted. I want to get light again. I want to be able to do the stuff that I used to be able to do. I was going to gymnastics every Tuesday to just learn flippy stuff. I'm like, I want to get back to that level. So I went from 94 at the beginning of lockdown, and I weighed myself today. And even though I had to take 2 weeks off for a medical thing from doing any like gym work, I'm now sitting at about 85.
Wow.
So it's nearly another 10 kilos. I'm nearly back to where we started. Um, Hoping to get 80 and under again. So it's still another 6 kilos, but yeah, a lot happier than when I was when we came out of lockdown. I can tell you that.
Oh, I can imagine, man. But regardless, you're looking great. But How did it feel to get back in the ring for the first time after lockdown, and even like not just performing in front of people, but getting back in and training? Because like I I sort of get told how the family orientation of PWA and how close everyone is. I don't train there, but I'm going off the information I'm told. How was it for everyone going back to together again after 4 months away from training? And how was it for you going back there? Was it like, thank fuck this is finally happening, or like what
Yeah.
was the mentality going back?
So it got to the point for me where I'm like, I am like sitting in here is driving me nuts. I need to do something. And the fact that I was only back maybe a week or two prior, like actually just shy of a month, I maybe had done a little bit of training slowly getting back into it after getting hurt. So me getting back into this, I'm just like, nah, I'm just going balls to the wall. I'm gonna train as much as I can. And it was great because like as much as every day I was constantly on Discord talking to referee Nick, our mate Jawa, Jude was there, Kingsley was there, Jax Jordan, I was talking Kai Drake, my partner Susie, everyone, we were all talking into this referee Nick. We were all there. Like everyone was all in there talking. And I was we constantly were in touch. We were constantly talking. Every Friday night we would just chuck on some wrestling and just watch it together, or chuck on a movie and watch it together. We were always in contact with people from PWA, and that was great because it was like, okay, cool. This is support. I've got people to talk to, and this is fantastic. But getting back to training was fantastic. It just felt normal again, and getting to see everyone's face and just training with them was great. Having said that, taking the first bumps sucked a whole lot because I had done nothing for like 3-4 months, and then slamming your body, I'm just like, yeah, I'm dying. This hurts.
The shortest training session ever, one bump. All right, that's good. That's good.
It, actually, no. The first day wasn't bad. The first bumps weren't bad, and then I think the next day I went back and I took a couple. I'm like, oh, now I feel it. I think I was just too happy that I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to ignore all the pain, and then the pain set in. I'm like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, you're in the moment. Yeah, I think like when you're in the moment, you don't feel it. Then the next day, it's just like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
But but during lockdown, man, one of the things that you did really get into, and for a great cause as well, for Are You Okay Day, which was streaming, which I think you pretty much stream like every other day, like really, what motivated you to start doing that and to do it for Are You Okay Day?
So most people who know me, like, they know, like, I I'm a big FIFA dude. I love my FIFA. I've got an Xbox, I've got a PlayStation, I've got everything set up. I'm a big gaming dude. Like I've got a green screen, a light, like I've got the whole setup. Uh but back in like I think it was like maybe it would have been like something like 2012 where early on when I went to school we were doing stuff at Are You Okay? And I've been doing like little bits and pieces here and there doing like charity fundraising stuff at Are You Okay? And then last year, um, I don't know if we were in lockdown or if we were just coming out of lockdown, but I just did a 1 day stream just for Are You Okay? And we raised a lot of money. So I'm like, okay, how can I try to make it better this year than we did last year? Uh, so I'm like, you know what? Let's try to do a full month uh, for Are You Okay? And then it's pretty much every second day we streamed, even if it was for an hour or a short amount of time. Like, you know what? We're gonna do it for a short period of time, every other day, and then see if we can raise any money. And then we raised heaps. Uh, a lot of people who donated realize like we ended up I can't remember the exact number, but it was like thousands, like over 3,000. It was something
Jeez.
ridiculous. And I'm like, I was expecting to hit maybe 1,000, maybe $500. Like I remember the first time we did the stream, I was like, yeah, cool. Let's try to hit $100. And then Maddie Wahlberg comes in or Grayson Waller comes in, bang, $100 straight away. I'm just like, oh. And then it just kept going up and up and up. So I'm like, let's try to make it better than last year's. So I'm like, let's do it for a longer period of time. And then I think the thing that I did differently was last year, it was just the day kind of playing games, talking a bit of shit, having fun. Whereas I would, in each stream, I would dedicate like a little bit of time at least to talk about Are You Okay? And then on Are You Okay Day, just do I think it would have been like 45 minutes or an hour. I don't know if the video, because I'm pretty sure Twitch deletes it after an X amount of days, but it's like it's like probably about an hour of me just opening up about my mental health and my like how I'm going. And I was just bawling my eyes out, just like a little baby. But doing something like that might actually help someone else. So I was very happy to do it. And the thing is, all the people in my Discord, all the Burrito boys, all in here, they were all super supportive. They were watching and they were just going, "We'll come in, we'll help you if you need time to like not talk, and we can kind of take over." I'm like, no, that's all good. We're doing it to bring awareness to Are You Okay? And the organization and everything it does. So I was more than happy to do that. And I know a lot of guys now, especially in wrestling, they don't talk about this stuff.
No.
A lot of people just don't talk about their mental health. I'm one of them. I usually don't, but I'm like, you know what? If I can do it, someone else might be inclined to do it too.
Dude, I'm the exact same way, and I'm probably a little bit older than you. And I grew up in a time where it's like depression is kind of like, oh, there's something wrong with this bloke. You know what I mean? So you kind of like when you're feeling that, you kind of like, ah, shit. You can't really talk to your mates. You don't know who to talk to. I think now socially, the way that the world is in 2021, being able to have that more freedom, and even now, friends my age, friends that I grew up with, have been able to now reach out to me, and I've been able to reach out to friends and have a conversation going, hey, I'm not feeling too cool. Let's have a beer or go for a run or whatever and have a catch up or in chat. Whereas I think 10, 15 years ago, like men specifically were more like bottling that in, and you're seeing suicide rates probably going this way as opposed to going that way.
Yeah. And like that's the whole thing. Are You Okay is pretty much supposed to encourage people just to have conversations, even if it's something little, like little checkups, asking if you're okay. You don't literally just have to go, hey, are you okay? You can just say, how's it going? You're doing well. Like little things. You don't actually have to go full on with give the whole spiel. So it's really good to it's really good to just get like like start a conversation, start like a dialogue, because like it's cheesy and it's the whole slogan. I'm even wearing the hat right now for it, but like it's true. Like one conversation could save someone, because they might be bottling something up, and then finally being able to express it might start leading them down a path to kind of better themselves, I guess.
Was it hard for you to open up on like by yourself on camera and going through that?
Little bit. I feel like a lot of the people close to me kind of know that I'm like, if you would have seen, I can switch on a dime how I'm feeling. If you would have seen me at the at the show at FWA, if you saw me before the show, if you saw me after the show, I was like tunnel vision. I was just like, oh, I'm ready to, just like, and then by the time, like even that, by the time after that show, I got home and I was broken down. I'm just like, damn, I'm dead. Like, but I feel like now I kind of like we're in a world where no one talks about it. I was more than happy to be like, look, it might be embarrassing to be seen crying on camera. It might be embarrassing, like opening up and being vulnerable, but at the same time, like we're all different. We all go through these struggles. You may you never know who you could impact with how you're doing it. So I'm like, you know what? Any insecurities I have about it, I throw out the window because it could help someone else.
Honestly, mate, like I think by doing that shows a lot of strength as well. Like, and confidence in yourself as well, to know that you can go and you can be that vulnerable in front of like the Twitchosphere out there, and people can sort of band together, but you never know who could see that and how that could impact someone, and how someone you could reach in the other side of the world by seeing this and the words that you were saying, and impact them in a positive way. Dude, I take my hat off to you, man.
Thank you. Well, the thing is, I want to specifically say thank you. I know I've already said their names, but everyone in that Discord was with me every single stream. Everyone in that Burrito Boys Discord was with me every single stream. Even someone like, the good thing is that entire thing enabled me to get close with a lot more people. Matthias Clock, one of them, like I was telling you before, I'd maybe said hi to him at a couple shows, but he was jumping in the Discord, kind of like giving back and forth with us. And now he's part of like our little circle of guys that we talk to when we play games online, because he's just like, he's a good dude, and it was real good to like get to know him over lockdown as well. And that was another good thing about lockdown. Like, a lot of people that I wasn't really overly close with, I became quite close with.
Yeah. And I think that that's probably a surprising thing, because people think lockdown and they think, oh yeah, you're just being like isolated away from the world. But like, that's the thing, man. Like, you guys have been able to sort of keep together. And I think that by having that, and also having that like human interaction on a daily or daily basis, it probably keeps you sane more than anything.
Yeah, it does.
But were you watching like much wrestling during the lockdown, or did you completely shut off to wrestling the whole time?
As soon as lockdown hit, I was watching a lot. Like, there was a couple Twitch streams that were legitimately doing every single like, it was like Raw, not even Raw or SmackDown, all of WWE from like 2002, and it would start at the beginning of the year, and then the stream would be on 24/7. It would be on the entire time, and it would just be back to back to back to back to back of every single show. And me and Kai Drake and Ref Nick were just sitting there just watching this, going far out, like, shit's changed. Like, this has changed a lot. But yeah, watched a lot of wrestling as soon as it happened. And then kind of once lockdown was coming to an end, I feel like the only time we really watched a lot of wrestling was either watching some like bigger pay-per-views and stuff like that live, or anytime the Grayson Waller was coming on our screen. I think anytime he came on, we're like, yep, cool. Doesn't matter what else is on, we're just watching that.
Hasn't he hit the ground running over there?
Mate, it's so good to watch. It's so sick to see.
As someone who, like, is a friend of yours, you seeing him going over there and excelling over there as well, like been booked very, very well. How proud does that make you feel?
Extremely. Like, when I first came into PWA, like, PWA is a massive family, but it's real hard when there's like, when I first started, I feel like there was a big difference between people on shows, and there was a lot of the newer guys starting out. A lot of the newer guys would band together, and I feel like a lot of the guys who were on shows and the guys who had been there for a while, that it was like two separate kind of groups. But the thing is, everyone was always real nice, always real welcoming to each other. Everyone was very nice. Especially when I started, I had Kai Drake and Billy Preston. Those were my two guys, because we lived close to each other.
Yeah.
So I automatically banded with them, and Kai kind of was just like, yeah, this is, he would kind of be like, this is how you act. This is proper etiquette. If this happens, do this. If this opportunity comes up, do this. Always put your hand up. Always do this. Always do that. And it's like one of the big things. It's like, always do ring crew. Show up. Be one of the first people to get there. Be one of the last people to leave. Everything instilled in my mind from etiquette wrestling, which is a surprise to a lot of people, especially at PWA, all comes from Kai Drake.
Wow.
All comes from Kai Drake. And that, I think, kind of made a lot of people think, okay, Kai's got his back. They were quite good with me. And one of the people who had my back a lot was Waller. Warburg. He had my back. Like, if you watch my first ever match, I was wearing his old gear. I was wearing his gear.
Mentioned that when you first had you on. Yeah,
I was. My first ever practice match was with him. Anytime I would be like just sitting there, and I had a message from him and Ricky just going, "Hey, you should try this. Look at this. This is something sick." He was very much like, he would always look out for me. He would always be like, "Yeah, let's. Anything you need, just let me know." And a lot of people might not expect that from him, but he's like, one of the most pivotal people that was part of PWA when I started, because he was just so welcoming and so enthusiastic about everyone, and he would always do his best to help anyone that he could.
Yeah. And that's the thing, man. You know, good things happen to good people, man. And
Yeah.
he's got amazing things happening for him, you know. But as far as, you know, for yourself now, Rhys, like with lockdown finally happening and opening up, you know, where do you want to see yourself starting to go? Like, do you want to start doing more interstate stuff, or like, are you wanting to sort of go international?
Yeah, I I think if it goes to, like, I know that I have a lot to go to be able to go, hey, I want to go internationally and wrestle in other countries. Um, I have a lot more learning to do, and I think I may have said this in the last podcast, but something that I really want to do is go over to different schools in this country. The main two that I would love to go and even just have like a week of training, or like maybe 2 weeks of training at these schools, is EPW and Wrestle Rampage. I'd love to go down there and just stay there for a week and just completely immerse myself into a different culture and learn from different people, because the more that you learn, the more people you train with, the more perspective you get of how you can better yourself as a wrestler.
Yeah. Like the basics are the same, but the little intricacies of professional wrestling are different from a different coach's perspective. Like I'm sure, like a coach like Davis Storm could show you something different than what like Robbie Eagles could, and then you know even AJ Istria is what you know what I mean. Like they all amazing performers and amazing coaches, but could have different ways of doing things, and one of
100%.
those ways may work best for you, you know, or your character.
Exactly. I kind of just want to expand, like, like expand where I've worked, because if you look at the places that I've worked, I it's only a couple places. I'm very lucky that I am extremely lucky to where I am in PWA. I was only training for a year and a little bit before I was on a Black Label show at Max Watts. Like, that was ridiculous. I was just thinking, I was thinking, yeah, maybe when I debuted on PWA, they introduced Green Label. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll start at Green Label and do a couple things there, and then maybe eventually I'll hit Black Label. But it was like a Green Label show, and I wasn't on it. But then the next show was with Max Watts, and then I was on that. So I'm extremely lucky to where I am within PWA. I'm really blessed. But other than that, FWA, I haven't worked many places. I'd love to just work places like Rock and Roll. I'd love to just go down to Wollongong and wrestle down there. I'd love to go over to EPW. I'd love to wrestle down there. Like some of the guys like Taylor King, I'd love to get in the ring with Taylor King, Kaz Jordan, Delcano. Like, I'd love to get in the ring with those guys. Even down in Wrestle Rampage, like there's a lot of guys down there as well. I'm like, you know what? I'd love to wrestle them. Even train with them. Just be immersed in that culture. I'd love to just be. Yeah, I just want to expand my horizons in wrestling and be able to say, hey, I've got all of this under my belt before I can start going, hey, let's think of going overseas. Let's think of pushing myself to see how big I can get.
And you know what? It's probably a responsible approach to it as well. You know what I mean? Like for you to sort of have that stand back, and it's like I think you'd really have to be honest with yourself there. And it's like, okay, I could go overseas and spend X amount of money getting over there and could be out of my depth, or I can stay
Yeah.
here and get some of the best training that I can locally, and also, you know, some of the best, you know, wrestling in the world is here in Australia as well. So, you know, you're going to be able to utilize stuff that's on your home base first. And I can see that being obviously the smarter move before going
Yeah.
abroad.
Especially like you look at PWA. The fact that I can say, hey, I had Madison Eagles train me, I had Mick Moretti train me, I had Robbie Eagles train me. Like, I had Unsocial Jordan, I had Shazza McKenzie. Like, these are names. These are guys who've been around, and they know a lot. And some of the, like, and even now, like, Ricky is stepping up into that role. And Ricky, I feel like probably he's taught me a lot. Like, he'll just go, hey, get in the ring with me. And then goes, this would be cool for you. Try this. This would be cool for you. Try this. Like, he's pushed me so much, Ricky. And he's very similar to Waller. He just pushes you and pushes you and pushes you until because they know how good you can get, and I feel like other places might not push you as well. So I know that I'm very lucky that I've got that as a foundation. So I'm very confident in going to other places and learning, but I'm not going over there going, oh, I'm from PWA. I'm better than you. And it's like, no, this is a new environment. This is a new school. I'm starting down here. You show me what I need to do to get better.
Dude, and you know what, man? Like I can definitely agree with that, man. After seeing you on Sunday, you were like right there in the heart of like setting up the ring, getting the show pretty much set up, putting the ring together, and then straight after the match, tearing the ring down, going out there. And you know what? Like that was a thing. Yeah, and like I noticed, I was like, all right, like I don't know how to put a ring together, so I'm like trying to like I can help pick this up and move it here. You tell me where you want it, I will do whatever you ask. But you were just like on top of it, man. And I was impressed, man, because it was like you had everyone like like directing people what needs to be done. And I think that sort of like, you know, and I want to say leadership style as well, because that's kind of like needed, like to be there at some shows. Like you've got the promoter that's always busy, but having someone like yourself who can step up and get the actual ring done, the seating and everything like that. I was really impressed that, you know, you stepped into that, man.
Yeah, like I said, I came into PWA. I was lucky where we're taught, hey, this is what you need to do. If you want to be if you want to go far, if you want to be looked at, if you want to be considered, you need to show that you want to be here. You need to show that you are value. Uh and yeah, like Ricky South over at PWA. He's the first guy to get there on Coliseum weekend. He got there before everyone. I think it was like, oh, we got to get to the academy at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock to tear the ring down and put it on the truck. I got there 10 minutes early. I got there at 8:50 or whatever the time was. I got there 10 minutes early. He had already put the entire ring on the truck by himself.
Jesus.
When he gets there, he's like, everyone, bang, this is what we do. We need everyone here, all hands on deck. So I follow. I'm like, yeah, if I want to be at the level of Ricky, I want to copy everything that he's doing when it's not got to do with wrestling, when it's got to do with setting up, etiquette, everything. He is who I look up to in how to handle myself and hold myself.
Yeah, and that's a way to be, man. You know, it's always respectful, and you know, and that's the thing that I've seen is like, you know, from seeing, you know, a majority of Australian wrestling, like from PWA and FWA, and for someone like myself being an outsider, you know, and I am an outsider coming in to a certain degree, and it's like everyone being so welcoming. And I said this before, like, you know, when I came to that PWA show to commentate, I was like sitting in my car for 5 minutes, going, how the like I was nervous just walking in there because I was like, how the fuck is this gonna be? And it was like, as soon as I walked in, I was like, fuck me dead. Like, why was I stressed? Everyone was like super nice coming up. Hey, how you going? People I hadn't met. Hey, hi, I'm this, blah, blah, blah. Very, very warm and welcoming. And it was like to experience that, like PWA first class, like from human beings to production to everything.
Yeah, like I said, we're taught if you're the first one, if you come in and there are people there, you say hello to everyone. If you don't know who someone is, if you've never met them before, don't be shy to just go up to them and go, hello, my name is blah blah blah. Give them a handshake. And yeah, I don't do that just PWA anywhere I go. I'll be like, and it's bad because now if I go to a party and it's someone who I've never met before, like at a random person's party, like, oh, hi, I'm Rhys. Hi, I'm Rhys. Hi, I'm Rhys, shaking their hand. And they're all looking at me like, you are a little bit weird.
But if
yeah,
you're around wrestling, it's like, yeah, it's fine.
It's ingrained in my head, like shaking my hand, like, hi, I am Rhys. And hopefully, especially if I've never met them before, that they'll be like, yeah, and they'll introduce themselves to me. Or they'll, if they come in after, going up to them, shaking their hand. That's just, yeah. I feel like I expect that from a lot of people, especially coming from PWA, because everyone already does that.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. And like I said, it was a very approachable thing. But, as far as coming up, man, like this show on Friday on the 3rd of December, which is now moved from Max Watts to the Factory Theatre, I believe. I just saw
Yes,
announced.
it's been moved. Even though we were coming home to Max Spots, which is where I made my PWA debut, I would have loved to come back there. Haven't been to Max Spots in so long. Having said that, Factory Theatre is such a sick venue as well. But
Amazing venue.
yeah, everyone, if you've got tickets, make sure that you come over to Factory Theatre. It's been moved from Max Watts. It's not that far of a drive, so just come on down.
Just around the corner.
Exactly.
Yeah, and what can we expect from the show on this Friday?
I think with a lot of, especially you've seen MMA, looks like they're introducing a new title. So that's something that's first show back.
History making.
Exactly. So we've got that. There's I think there was the SMS
Challenge
coming up against the Bad Bitch Nation. And like, I think Kingsley is the best. Kingsley is sick. So absolutely love watching her wrestle. And SMS, even though was kind of like slapping around like the lot of them the other day. They're always fun to watch, I guess.
You know what? I love that spot that you guys did where you and Jordan went to the back and then you came back wearing the different t-shirts. I was sitting there, I was like, that's fucking great. And then you're on the other side of the ring and then AJ turns around. I thought that spot was hilarious. I was like, that's fucking gold.
I think honestly, I'm going back looking at those photos going, I look good in a turtleneck. Like, and then I'm just constantly teasing on social online. I'm just sending him pictures of me in a turtleneck going, hey, you wish, I'm like, you wish that I was a part of SMS. And then he's just constantly just like no selling me, just kind of be like, oh yeah, nah. But I'll just constantly send him the photo of me in a turtleneck and it's just to annoy him. It's fantastic.
I thought it was a good part of the match because it was like, it's just something that you don't like, you know what I mean? Like that's something like the old style of wrestling. Like it sort of gave you a little bit of a throwback feel for that match, almost like with that, because it's like that funniness of it. But great entertaining match though.
You look at the two guys that were in the ring though, slapping the absolute ever living life out of each other. I don't know why, but I was, if you saw any of that match, I was arm on the apron, and then I would hear, and I was like curling up in a ball going, oh, that just hurts to listen to. And I'm like, oh, that's not fun. And then I'm just looking at Maker going, oh, I don't envy you right now. AJ slaps hard.
I think I actually
Aaron,
said that
sorry.
as well. It's like he's slapping the living daylights out of each other. Like the sound was crazy in that match, but I think it was a really entertaining match. I'd like to see more of, like I said earlier, I'd love to see more of the tag team of you and Mako together. I think it's the makings of something pretty cool, man. I think you guys really work well together.
Yeah, I'm constantly just messaging him like little bits and pieces. I'm like, "Oi, watch this. We can do this," or "I've got an idea. Let's do this." Like the gear, like how we're both in white, like kind of jeans. Like that was me going, I'm wearing white jeans, but I'm also, how about like we do stuff? So I've got had ideas of how we can change our gear up to kind of like match each other and do that stuff, because I know someone like Nick hates. He goes, I hate tag teams that don't match gear, or they don't have a name, or they don't have this. And I'm like, great, because me and Mako have the titles and we don't have matching gear and we don't have a team name. So I kind of just don't want to do any of that to annoy him. But I'm like, I want to be cohesive with my partner.
But you know what? Like you look at some of the tag teams, not every tag team is great. Tag teams need a tag name though.
No, but we've got some real good ones. We're just trying to figure out which one we're going for.
Do you think that would see you guys team in PWA?
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I think that Donnie Mako, the stuff that man can do in the ring is phenomenal. If he can get a bigger stage and like I think he will shine. I've always watched him. I'm like, dude, like for someone who's not like a cruiserweight, you're not a small guy. You can do some real cool shit.
Yeah.
And I've always been envious of the stuff that he can do. And I'm like, all he needs is just that stage to do stuff. Like my first match at PWA, the 4-way, me, Fudge, Rogers, and Mako. Like he was coming up with a bunch of stuff, and then he's like, okay, cool. And then he got to the outside, and I'm like, okay, let's see if I can jump over the top rope and run him to the other guys on the other side. That's coming from his mind. He's nuts. He's like, you can do it. I'm like, no, I can't. He's like, yeah, you can. Let's do it.
How did it go?
I landed on my feet and I didn't die. So I think
there
it went
you go.
well.
Like maybe it's just that extra bit of confidence from him that gives you, like, you know what I mean, the motivation to actually pull it off.
Yeah, like I think if I really want to like pursue this tag team properly, because I think we might be able to do some good things, whether it's being real stupid, covering up our chest when we get our shirts ripped off, or changing shirts with our opponents backstage, or doing something stupid. Like we can just mesh off each other, and it's real easy and it's real fun. Like as people, we're very different. We are very different, but when we're in there, like it's super easy. We mesh super well, and I've gotten nothing but nice things to say about Donnie Mako.
Yeah, because that's the thing. As characters, like you guys are completely like almost opposite. But like seeing you guys like in the sort of matching similar gear on Sunday, I was like, you know, I could dig watching this tag team. I was like,
yeah,
I'd like to see where they sort of go with it. It's like if if you guys can do more tagging, I reckon you guys would do great.
We've still got a long way to go, but at this point, it's just getting our reps in. We just gotta keep tagging. Pretty much gotta keep at it, and I reckon we can actually get something good out of it.
So leading up for the rest of the year and in the new year, like what are your main goals going forward? Like for the next near future, I should say.
So within the near future, like a lot of people, they see the borders opening up. They see let's go over to America, let's go over to the UK, let's go everywhere.
Yeah.
And let's wrestle everywhere. But I'm thinking in my head, nah, let's stay here. Let's make PWA. Let's pretty much show the rest of the world that everyone here at PW, like we don't need to go overseas. You guys need to come to us. You guys need to come down here to wrestle. I will be at training every physical possible time. Anytime that I can be there, I will be there. I want to get to a level where I'm like, okay, I don't feel out of the water against someone like Mick Moretti. I don't feel out of the water against someone like Jack Bonza, like Ricky South, like Carter Deems. I want to be able to be like, yeah, I can get in the ring with them, and I can go with them, and it not be, and it's not like, it's like, why is Rhys Angel in the ring with him? I want to be able to be like, oh, of course, finally Rhys Angel is getting in the ring with these guys.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, putting in the training, showing up and putting it in there on shows as well, which, is something that you've always done. And, I've really appreciated, your style, and even, seeing your ring style on Sunday and also at the PWA show, seeing how it's starting to evolve more and seeing your confidence in that character as well. And even, as you said, and we mentioned earlier, having Nikki Van Blair in your corner and then seeing you come out without Nikki does an amazing job, but you still had that confidence there coming out by yourself. And that really sort of started to show, I think from that. So hat off to you, mate. I think you're doing a great job and performing at a really good level.
It is difficult, especially going from a different change and going from someone that is a complete polar opposite to what I am in everyday life. I am a complete polar opposite, but you put in the work, you put in the hours, and you take what's yours, as my good friend The Rock would say.
100%, man. 100%. And
but yeah,
but that's the thing, is like there's so many people that expect, like, shit just to be handed to them, and it's just been like, okay, cool, like, but like very few people want to put in the work, put in the effort to get the end result. And I think that, by seeing someone that has the work ethic that you have, and basically showing, other, younger guys coming up and coming through and learning and training and, doing the things like the ring crew and getting guys, banding together to do this, to get things set up for a show, is setting an example for them, like you had the example set for you prior,
Like, yeah, like you see the tryout groups that come through nowadays. There's heaps of guys that come through, heaps of guys and girls. Everyone's there's a lot of people coming through, and then you just want to be like, hey, this is everything I did when I started. I was throwing Wahlberg's money off the mezzanine. I was selling raffle tickets out the front. If they said, hey, does anyone want to do this, or do you want to come help out on these shows that pretty much you won't know anyone on, you just say yes and you head over there. You just do what you can. And I feel like everyone kind of pushes everyone to do that. Like, there's a lot of trainees now that you just see that they want it so much. And now we've got like the green dingoes. Like, that's very, it's easy for them to be like, okay, this is my goal. I want to be a dingo. I want to be able to get in the ring in front of people. I want to start doing this type of stuff. And hopefully there's more opportunities, because guys like Pidgey, guys like Streamer, guys like Tommy D, my favorite guy back there. I love him. They're fantastic. Like, they're so good. And it's a matter of time before they're like, yeah, no, we're not green dingoes anymore, and more people need to fill those shoes.
Yeah. And but that's the thing, man, like seeing those guys perform as well, like, a couple of weeks back at, we're going to need a montage. I was blown away. Like, those guys got in there and held their own. They look good. And that, I think that goes to the training and the atmosphere of PWA as well. Like, I think that, people have to come in, and I think that some people have natural ability and athleticism, but I think as well, being trained the right way and shown how to do things the right way from the ground up and the strong fundamentals, you definitely see that from PWA performers.
You can have all the athletics in the world, and you can be a terrible wrestler, because you just might not click. Yeah, you might be able to do 100 burpees before training session for a whole month, like Mick has been making us do, but like, it's not the people that can do those 100 burpees that show the most heart. It's the people who are struggling, but you see them push through. They show you that they want it. They'll fight through all the pain. And there's a lot of guys down at the academy that you see, they're like, I'm hurting. I ain't giving up, but I'm hurting, and I'll keep going.
Yeah. And I think that that's the difference between hurting and being injured. Like that's a thing an old coach said to me, is like, someone says, I'm hurt. Well, are you hurt, or are you just hurting? Are you injured, or are you just hurting? Well, I'm just hurting. Well, you can keep going. I mean? Like,
it's like I said, Mick's been making us do 100 burpees with him, because he's doing his fundraiser for November, and part of it is he's going to be doing 100 burpees every day. So we're doing that at the academy with him. I've got a bum right shoulder from it's not 100%. Well, I mean, it's all right, but I'm like, you know what? I'm still cautious for it. But after maybe like, I think it was like 70, I'm like, I can't go fully with my right arm. I'm too scared. So I was like, screw it. Put one arm behind the back and just sprawl with one hand and get back up. Like, everyone will find a way, and everyone will just keep trucking along. Even if they're hurt, they'll be like, is there anything else I can substitute it with? What else can I do? I don't want to sit around and do nothing. I want to go balls to the wall.
Yeah. And I think that that's the thing, when you've got like-minded people there as well, it's like everyone's going to be motivated by that as well. It's not just like, taking that sort of, thing for granted. It's like, oh yeah, I've kind of done enough now. It's like, having other people around you to motivate you to keep going as well. And that's probably a really important part of it.
Yeah. It's PWA. They'll do that to you. They're the very best.
Oh, absolutely. But guys, it is that time for 60 seconds of Piers. have told Rhys about it. He knows how it's going to go down. 60 seconds with Piers. I start the timer. Rhys is going to answer as many questions as I'm going to fire at him. He has 60 seconds to get as many as he can in. There is no right or wrong answer to any of these questions. But Rhys, are you ready to get things going?
Let's do it.
All right. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Master Chef or My Kitchen Rules?
Neither.
Fair enough. Plain fairy bread or fairy bread with Nutella?
Fairy bread with Nutella. Sounds great.
Which celebrity would play you in a movie about your life?
Hook.
iTunes or Spotify?
Spotify.
What languages do you speak besides English?
Gibberish.
Name 5 things sitting in front of you.
Monitor, keyboard, laptop, Rey Mysterio cutout, water bottle.
So random. Okay. What is your favorite meal that nobody else likes?
Lemon pepper. I mean, a lot of people probably like it, but my favorite, lemon pepper chicken with mushy peas. Fantastic. It's goat tier.
Favorite song to sing in the car?
I hate it because it's now Jimmy Townsend's theme song. Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, the Lil Nas X. It's great.
Okay, and last one. In 5 minutes' time, you're being taken to outer space. What 2 personal belongings do you take with you, excluding human beings?
Excluding human beings going to space. My PS5. It's pretty much my PS5 setup and my mobile phone. Those 2.
Done. That has been 60 seconds with Piers. Rhys has done it. Thank you very much. But guys, this has been another episode of Shooting the Shit Uncensored. I just want to take a quick second to thank my guest of the evening, Mr. Rhys Angel, making his return on Shooting the Shit. Mate, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. And, you know, as always, I'd love to have you on anytime you like to come back on. But guys, thank you for everyone who tuned in live. For anyone who's tuned in after the fact, thank you very much. We appreciate you wherever you find us, whether it be on Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, Spreaker, Deezer, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever it is. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. Huge shout out to our sponsors, healthvape.com and sleefs.com. Use promo code MWAPOD and get a 10% discount on your final purchase. And guys, make sure you follow all the other shows that we have here at the MWA Podcast Network, like Killing the Business with former ECW original, the Kingpin Angel Medina, and King Mega, and the Burger King Glenn Sexton. Make sure to also tune in for Knights of the Gimmick Table with the Dead Presidents, Boogaloo and Lowrider. And Get Funked with host Alan Kwee Funk. So, guys, we got 7 shows for you, 7 days a week. So make sure you tune in. And, guys, until next time, we appreciate you. And we'll see you guys again very, very soon. Until then, peace out, take care, and good night.